calling together all amateur radio operators. This is the weekly net of the M17 Project. I'm Ed, November 2, X-Ray Delta Delta, and I will be your net control station today. This net meets every Friday at 1700 hours at UTC by means of the M17 Charlie Reflector. The purpose of this net is to relay and share information in regards to the M17 project. M17 is a new digital radio protocol in development as an alternative to those currently available with freedom in mind. Freedom in the code, protocol, voice codecs, and hardware. The goal is to provide a better option for digital radios in the future. We encourage all amateur radio operators to check into this net. We will take check-ins followed by an informal roundtable to discuss all things M17 related. When checking in, please key your mic, stand by approximately 2 seconds, and then give me your call sign using proper ITU phonetics, followed by your name and location, and if you have any information for the net. Also, try and keep your transmissions to under 3 minutes. And with that, I'm now going to stand by for check-ins.
This is Kilo Charlie 1 Alpha Whiskey Victor KC1AWV, Steve in Boston, Massachusetts. No traffic.
This is November 8, Victor November Romeo, Kevin in North Carolina. No traffic.
This is November 7, Tango Alpha Edward M7 Tom in Arizona. No traffic.
This is Kilo 9 Foxtrot Hotel, Phil, near Chicago. No traffic.
India Uniform 2, Kilo Whiskey Oscar, Silvano, Milan, Italy, with a brief traffic.
This is India Uniform 2, Kilo India November, Niccolò from Milano, no traffic.
This is Sierra Papa 5, Whiskey Papa, Wojciech from Poland, no traffic.
This is KC8ACO, Kilo Charlie 8, Alpha Charlie Oscar, Leon in Michigan. No traffic.
Alrighty, guys, we're going to hold it up right there. Net control wishes to recognize Steve, KC1AWV, Kevin, N8PNR, N17 Tom, Phil, K9FH. We have Silvano. We're recognizing IU2KIN. I'm sorry, Silvano, you have traffic, I believe. I'm sorry, I can't read my notes here, guys. I apologize for the mix-up. Wojciech, SP5WWP, I'm putting you down with traffic. And Leon, thanks for joining us this week. Any other late check-ins for this week's session of the M17 Project? Okay, hearing nothing, net control is going to pass it over to IU2KWO. It's all yours.
Thanks, net control. I just want to give you a couple of updates about our efforts on porting M17 to MD380. The updates are that I got the external USB sound card. I'm now calibrating the sound card and to make it able to do the measurements, and I think that tomorrow morning I will hook up everything, which is the sound card output and the sound card input to the low pass filter used in MD380 for PWM filtering, and try to identify the transfer function of that filter so that we can properly design a compensating stage, which is necessary to have proper generation of the M17 audio signal and proper eye diagram. So my updates are basically these, and I hope we can get this compensating filter in a couple of days, I hope. For me, it's everything. Back to net control.
Okay, Silvano, thank you very much for that update from the OpenRTX project. You may want to lower down this second radio you have going on there. I don't know if you're monitoring yourself, but you have a little bit of an echo, and it's hindering the communication coming from your side. So, does anybody have any questions in regards to the update from the OpenRTX project? Please come now. Okay. Before I go down the list to next station with traffic, is there any late check-ins?
Kilo Echo 0 Delta Charlie KE0DC Doug, Aurora, Colorado.
All right, Doug, KE0DC, thanks for joining us here. This is N2XDD Net Control. Next down the list, we're going to pass it over to SP5WWP.
Okay, thanks, Ed. I've got a question for Silvano. Are you going to generate a signal using your sound card, modified sound card, and then pass it through the RC filter? It's a two-pole RC filter, if I remember correctly. And then sample the output and see what's the phase response. Is that correct?
Hi, Wojciech. Yeah, that's correct. My plan is, I don't know exactly, but the idea is to generate a chirp signal from, let's say, 10 hertz to 5 kilohertz, more or less, and compare the phase difference and amplitude difference so that we can get full characterization of this filter, which is two-pole RC filter, both in terms of modulus and phase, and then we shall see how it behaves in all this frequency range. My plan is more or less this one. Back to net control.
SP5WWP, does that answer your question? Or if you have anything else, please continue to go direct.
Yes, one more question. Are you going to generate the signal using the PWM output of the STM32? 32, sorry.
Okay, no, I'm generating the PWM signal using I will generate the signal to be injected into the RC filter using the sound card. This way we get rid of everything coming from the MCU. Also because if you generate the chirp with PWM, you need on the sound card side, so to say, another low-pass filter to extract the signal and to do the comparison. I mean, I have to tap on the PWM output, pass through low-pass filter to remove the high-frequency component and to extract the effective chirp and inject this on one channel. And we can consider this as a reference signal. I then have to tap on the output of the RC chain to get the other signal to be compared with our reference. However, if we generate the chirp using the MCU, we need an additional RC filter at least for the reference signal, which is, I mean, not so good. So I prefer using the sound card for chirp generation and output measurement and leave the radio completely turned off. So we are sure we are characterizing exactly the PWM filter on the radio, and we do not have to bother with additional filters, additional responses, and so on and so forth. Back to net control.
IU2 KIN.
IU2KIN, Nico, please go ahead.
Thank you. I have another question for Silvano and also for everybody else if anyone has an answer. Basically, I want to ask whether there is some standard way of determining the phase delay, the group delay response of a filter. Because I heard there is a way which implies multiplying the input signal with the output signal, which works for phase lower than 30 degrees. But maybe there are some other standard ways which we can employ, which to work. To you, Silvano, or eventually to you, Net Control.
Sierra Papa 5.
Okay. Hearing nothing, we'll move on for a second. Do I have any late check-ins for this week's session of the M17 Project Weekly Net? This is N2XDD Net Controller. Okay, guys. Sounds like we had a double there. SP5WWP. Did you have something?
Yes, indeed, I had. I just wanted to add that you can use one output of the sound card to generate sine wave using a GNU radio, and then use two inputs. There are only two inputs in that sound card, and use one to see what's the output from the generator, and the other to see what's the output from the RC filter. So using this, you should be able to tell what's the phase difference between these two signals. And at the beginning, you have to connect all three signals and calibrate it to zero, so to say, back to net control.
Okay, Wojciech, thank you for that follow-up. Okay, now do we have any late check-ins for this week's session of the M17 Project Weekly Net?
Sierra Papa 5 requesting permission to speak.
Sure, 1 second there, Wojciech, I'm going to pass it to you. So I saw G4 KLX, I got you on the dashboard, so I don't know if I had stepped on you earlier. So I'm going to put you down as a check-in. Thank you for joining us. SP5WWP, please come now.
Well, I've got a proposal. Let's get back to this topic at the end of the net, so we don't scare people off.
I'm sorry, Wojciech, can you just repeat that traffic?
Yes, of course. Let's get back to this topic later on the net, so we don't scare people away.
Sounds good to me. What else do you have for us this week, Wojciech? Do you have any news in the world of M17 that you'd like to share with us?
How about asking KC1AWV, Steve?
Steve, be careful of that bus that just ran you over. Was I too late? KC1AWV and 2XDD. Steve, care to share?
You know, it's funny because I was expecting this. It's not any sort of a bus factor here. So yeah, there's quite a few things that have actually just came out recently regarding M17 and some of the things that we've been working on in the background. Usually in the chat, like when people are signed into our main chat room, you know, you see a lot of the development process, and you know, we're doing a lot of good work, you know, trying to get this thing launched, and you know, we're making great strides. But in the background, there's quite a few other things going on, and people that were in Discord earlier today may have also seen a note that was written by Michelle, who is part of our sponsor, ORI, the Open Research Institute. And Michelle, W5NYV, let us know here at M17 that we have been invited to work with OPSSAT, which is a ESA project that basically has a laboratory in space, and M17 has been you know, asked to participate with that project. So we're going to look at putting M17 into space, and that's very exciting news. The other thing that is really good news is that the grant from ARDC has been approved. ORI has worked with us in order to secure a grant from the Amateur Radio Digital Communications ARDC people. We are getting that money, and we're going to be building a whole lot of things we're going to be looking at getting test equipment and getting spare radios and starting development on the TR9 and all that other fun stuff that comes with actually being able to afford them. So a huge thanks goes out to ORI and ARDC for providing us with that grant, and we shall put it to good use. Further details on that will be coming. We're just finishing up the paperwork, and we should be able to see that soon. I'm going to drop for just a second to prevent from timing out. All right, so yeah, the grant, the space stuff, that's the stuff that we don't really get to see in the chat room all that much. The development for Open RTX is taken off. I mean, it's taken off like a rocket. It's all going to be space themed. All my little anecdotes and everything are going to be space themed now. But I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover. One of the other things that I'm going to be working on this weekend is that Jonathan, G4KLX, who is developing the MMDVM firmware, he is asking people to take a look at the MMDVM _HS firmware. There seems to be some issues with the M17 implementation, and we're hoping that people would be interested in taking a look at what's going on and see what kind of bugs that we can work out for the hotspot firmware. The modem firmware seems to work just fine. I've had it installed on a STM32 DVM from Repeater Builder, and it works. The only issue that I have is I don't have an actual radio to work it with, and the only other hardware that I have is a Nucleo TNC or a TNC3 from MobileLink. So, my testing ability right now is limited, but I do have a spare hotspot that I can also kind of take a poke at the firmware and see what might be going on there. And I think that's pretty much everything that I wanted to cover during the net today. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and instead of waffling on, I'll pass it back over to Net Control. This is KC1AWV.
Steve, thank you very much for sharing all that great news with us here on the net. Big things coming from the M17 project. So all of the hard work is starting to pay off little by little. So great job, guys. Congratulations, SP5WWP. You must be very proud of all of this. Do we have any late check-ins or anybody with any traffic or questions or any other concerns about the M17 project? Please call Net Control and 2XDD.
VE3MIC.
VE3MIC.
Net Control, this is VE3MIC. I'm located in Barrie, Ontario, which is about 100 kilometers north of Toronto. And very excited to hear about M17 and the ATX, the RTX, Open RTX project. Anyway, not much more to add. Just been listening in here, and I'll be listening. VE3MIC, back to net.
Hi, VE3MIC. Mike, thank you for joining us. I think this is a new call sign in your first check-in here, so welcome. And please feel free to join us every Friday at 1700 hours UTC. So thanks again. Any other late check-ins or anybody else with any traffic? Hi, this is N2XDD Net Control Station for the weekly meeting of the M17 project. via the M17 Charlie Reflector and various other ways of getting in. Anybody else would like to join us? Any questions, any comments in regards to M17 or even the Open RTX project? Please come now.
KY4DAG in and out.
We got you there, Austin. Thank you for joining us with your in and out. KY4DAG recognized. Anyone else? Okay, guys, if we don't have anything else here, we're going to proceed and close the net. I'll drop it one more time and see if we have anybody else with any questions, comments, concerns, inquiries, or late check-ins, or any other further traffic for the M17 weekly net.
Are you true KIM?
5.
IU2KIN. Go ahead, Nico.
Okay, thank you. IU2KIM here. I also heard Wojciech behind me, so probably we doubled. So I leave the. I wanted to just do a quick comment about the whole a topic which I believe deserves some attention that happened, which is not a happy topic. It's what happened to OpenGD77, which for who didn't know, actually the maintainer of the project decided to stop maintaining this project. First, stating that he will be continue the development privately, and afterwards deciding to shut down the project completely. And sorry for my packet drop, but I'm on mobile, and this is how it behaves. By the way, I believe it's a great loss for everybody of us, and we should all be aware about double checking our licensing, double checking our legal issues with proprietary technology, which is something maybe more us about OpenRTX with eventual DMR implementation might be subject more than M17, which is by its own nature open source and free. But really, we should guard ourselves against this type of issues. And I wanted to hear maybe some of the hams here in the net have something to comment on this news. And to you, Net Control.
Okay, Nico, IU2KN, thank you for that. I heard you said you're in the mobile, so you were a little noisy and you were dropping out every couple of seconds and all, but we pretty much got what you were saying in regards to the GD77 project with the developers stopping any further production on it right now. So does anybody have any questions or comments in regards to what's going on in the world of GD77? Okay, nothing heard. Any other late check-ins or anybody else with any traffic or news? Please come now.
SP5.
WWP, go ahead.
I just wanted to talk with Silvano, but I don't think that M17 Net is the right place to do it. So maybe we can switch to some other module later. Silvano?
Yeah, no problem. Back to Nat.
Okay, this is November 2, X-ray Delta Delta, net control station for this week's session of the M17 project. Do we have any further check-ins or anyone else with traffic? If not, guys, we're gonna close it up. Looks like this will be a short one. Okay, gentlemen, I want to thank all those stations that checked in today for participating and supporting the net. Your help in maintaining this net is appreciated by one and all. This is Ed at 2XDD. The net is now secured at 17:31 hours UTC. 7-3.
73 Ed, thanks for running the net for us today. KC1AWV. I'm going to be taking the Allstar link out for, I don't know, a few minutes. I need to do an update and bring down the gain levels coming in from M17 that seems to be clipping on the analog side. So, yeah, this is KC1AWV. I'll be tearing down the analog side. The module will still stay up, but, you know, the analog link will just be down for a little while. KC1AWV.
KC1AWV from VE3MIC.